Welcome back to the channel, Coins Buyers, and thank you for joining us as we dive into another fascinating story from the world of rare and valuable coins, where an ordinary piece of pocket change can turn into a life-changing treasure. And today we're exploring the incredible tale of the 1997 United States Liberty 1-cent penny, a coin that is normally worth just a single cent but, under extraordinary circumstances involving rare errors, minting mistakes, and extremely uncommon production anomalies, has been rumored in collector discussions to reach values as high as $78 million, not because of its metal content or age, but because certain era coins are so extremely rare that collectors will pay unbelievable amounts for them, turning a simple penny into a potential fortune. The 1997 penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial series, made mostly from copper-plated zinc, and produced in massive numbers at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, meaning that most of them will never be worth more than face value. But every now and then, a handful of coins escape the minting process with extraordinary flaws that transform them into legendary collector's pieces. And that's where the excitement begins, because era coins are not only unique but also impossible to intentionally reproduce, making them one-of-a-kind treasures that spark intense competition among serious numismatists. When we talk about the possibility of a 1997 penny reaching tens of millions of dollars, we are talking about the most extreme and rarest era categories, the kinds that appear once in a generation, such as double-die obverse errors where Lincoln's portrait or the date appears doubled due to misalignment during the hubbing process, or a dramatic off-center strike where a large portion of the design is missing, or a broad strike error where the coin expands beyond its proper shape because the retaining collar failed during minting, or even an impossible-to-replicate mule error where the reverse belongs to a completely different coin series altogether, a mistake that should be impossible but has happened in rare cases in U.S. mint history, making such coins astronomically valuable. There are also transitional errors, where the coin is accidentally struck on the wrong metal planchet, such as copper instead of copper-plated zinc, or on a foreign coin blank, and these mistakes, while rare, create coins that instantly become legends held in museum-level collections. These are the types of errors that would push a 1997 penny from a common coin into a multi-million-dollar category because collectors always chase rarity, uniqueness, and historical mystery. Another factor that makes some 1997 pennies incredibly valuable is the mint mark error scenario. For example, if a Denver mint coin mistakenly carried a misplaced or doubled mint mark, or if a coin meant for circulation carried a proof-style finish due to a minting mix-up, or if a small batch escaped with a punched error that went unnoticed, and while mint marks after 1990 were no longer hand-punched, other machine-related mint mark abnormalities could still theoretically occur, making such coins highly desirable. Even more unimaginable is the discovery of a coin that could show multiple errors at once, such as a double-die obverse combined with an off-center strike, or a broad strike combined with a misaligned die clash, creating a rare convergence of mistakes that would boost its value exponentially. The reason these era coins can command such high prices is because they exist outside normal mint production standards. They are accidents that survived quality control, escaped into circulation, and then disappeared into someone's pocket, drawer, or coin jar for years before being rediscovered by accident. And that story alone adds mystery and excitement that collectors love, turning these coins into artifacts of minting history. For a coin to reach a mythical valuation like $78 million, it would need to be not only incredibly rare but also historically significant, possibly the only known example of a once-in-a-lifetime error, something so dramatic and so unlikely that it captures global attention. And while most 1997 pennies are worth their face value, the possibility of an extreme mint error means that anyone could stumble across a miracle coin without even realizing it. This is why coin hunters, collectors, and treasure seekers keep checking their pocket change, shining flashlights over jars of old coins, examining dates, edges, and surfaces carefully, because coins like these hide unexpectedly in everyday life, waiting for someone curious enough to notice the unusual details. Whether it's a dramatic strike-through error where a piece of cloth or metal obstructed the die during minting, leaving a strange imprint, or a die cap error where the coin gets stuck to the die and creates a dome-shaped, completely distorted piece, or a multi-strike error where the coin is hit several times instead of once. These anomalies not only make the coin visually striking but also extremely valuable. The excitement of the 1997 penny story reminds us that rare coins are not only about age or metal content but about rarity, mistakes, and uniqueness, and that even the smallest coin can become a multi-million-dollar treasure when the right combination of errors appears. So the next time you pick up a handful of change or sort through an old collection, remember that hidden among billions of ordinary pennies could be that one extraordinary piece, the kind of error coin that collectors dream about, the kind that could turn a simple 1-cent penny into something unimaginably valuable, reminding us why the coin collecting world remains full of surprises, mysteries, and incredible discoveries. One of the most exciting discoveries in modern coin collecting, the fascinating story of the 2000 United States Liberty 1-cent penny and how certain rare errors and minting mistakes have pushed its potential value far beyond its humble face value of just 1 cent, with some collectors estimating extremely rare examples could be worth an unbelievable $45 million due to extraordinary, once-in-a-lifetime mint errors. The year 2000 was an interesting time for the Denver Mint, known for high-volume production that can sometimes allow unusual mistakes to slip through the cracks, and when these mistakes occur, even a common coin can transform into a fortune. Collectors are especially drawn to coins that show dramatic minting issues, and the 2000 penny has become one of the most discussed coins because of the possibilities of doubled dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, transitional planchets, and even rare misplaced or altered mint mark errors that can drastically multiply its value. The reason a coin like this could reach such an eye-popping valuation is tied to the basic principles of rarity, condition, dramatic visual impact, and the intense demand from error coin specialists who constantly seek one-of-a-kind pieces. Imagine a 2000 penny struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, such as a dime planchet strike, where the coin ends up thinner, lighter, and off-colored compared to a normal copper-plated zinc cent. This kind of rare manufacturing mistake can create a multi-million-dollar treasure since collectors know errors like these are nearly impossible to replicate, and often leave unmistakable characteristics that grading companies can authenticate. Another highly valuable possibility is a wrong metal transitional error, where the penny might have been struck on a leftover pre-1982 copper planchet, or even an entirely different metal leftover from testing, making the coin's weight and sound distinct from regular cents. Even more valuable and extremely sought after are true double die errors, especially those that show strong doubling on the date, the word liberty, or the motto "I in God we trust," which can turn an ordinary penny into a piece of numismatic history. Then there are mint mark anomalies. If the D mint mark was accidentally punched twice, punched sideways, or struck using an incorrect punch tool, it could create a mint mark variety so rare that collectors would fight for ownership, driving its value through the roof. Off-center strikes are also popular, especially when the date remains fully visible. An off-center strike of 50% or more while keeping the date readable could instantly elevate the coin into extremely high-value territory because such dramatic errors become visually stunning and impossible to ignore. Some collectors also fantasize about a mule error, where the obverse of the penny could have been mistakenly paired with the reverse of another coin denomination. While extraordinarily unlikely, any confirmed mule involving a 2000 cent would automatically become one of the most valuable error coins in history. Broad strikes, where the retaining collar fails during minting and the coin spreads out wider than usual, also attract strong value when the strike remains bold and the details remain sharp. In addition to mechanical errors, die cracks, die clashes, extreme die deterioration doubling, and even struck-through errors, where foreign objects such as grease, cloth, wire, or metal fragments interfere with the striking process, can create unique one-time flaws that increase a coin's desirability. Grease-filled die errors can cause missing letters, missing digits, or partial design elements, and these anomalies often fetch high premiums because they stand out dramatically from normal coins. What truly drives speculation of multimillion-dollar values, however, is the concept of a coin being the only known example of its type, combined with a deep interest from high-end collectors, auction houses, and investors who appreciate the rarity of such minting accidents. As more collectors study the 2000 penny and examine their pocket change or old coin jars with increasing curiosity, stories continue to surface about unusual finds and undervalued coins that were once overlooked. If a uniquely severe and spectacular error version of the 2000 penny were authenticated by a major grading company like PCGS or NGC as a one-of-a-kind minting anomaly, it could easily become a legend in the numismatic world, possibly achieving record-breaking auction prices due to its unprecedented combination of rarity, demand, and historical significance. So while a normal 2000 penny is extremely common and worth only 1 cent, the dream of discovering that one special error, whether a doubled die, off-metal strike, dramatic off-center strike, mule pairing, or mint mark mistake, keeps collectors searching with hope, because in the world of coin collecting, it only takes one extraordinary error to transform a simple penny into a multimillion-dollar treasure that captures the attention of collectors around the globe. World of rare and valuable coins, where ordinary pocket change can sometimes turn into extraordinary treasure, and today we're exploring a coin that has sparked huge interest among collectors and enthusiasts, the 2010 USA Lincoln 1-cent penny, which in some extreme and highly theoretical scenarios has been talked about as reaching values far beyond its tiny face value. Even with claims of astronomical figures like $97 million when certain rare errors, minting mistakes, or unusual conditions collide to create something truly one-of-a-kind, and while such numbers are not typical in the real coin market, the fascination comes from the possibilities that exist within the world of mint errors, collector demand, rarity, and the unpredictable nature of numismatic discovery. When we talk about the 2010 penny, minted in Denver, we're referring to a modern zinc penny with a copper coating, part of the shield reverse design that symbolizes the unity of the United States. But what makes certain examples of this common coin so interesting is not the design itself, but the potential mistakes, anomalies, or mishaps that can occur during the minting process, turning an everyday coin into a rare collectible. Mint errors can include off-center strikes, doubled dies, misaligned dies, broad strikes, die caps, planchet errors, clipped planchets, missing layers of plating, and even unusual die polishing marks or mint mark misplacements. And when these errors happen on coins from a high mintage year like 2010, genuine mistakes become even more valuable because of how rarely they occur. For a coin to even be imagined as worth millions, it would need to be a practically unique piece with a dramatic, eye-catching error, something so significant that it becomes famous among collectors, grading companies, and auction houses, potentially the kind of mistake that slips past all quality control systems, survives circulation untouched, and eventually captures massive attention due to its rarity. Think about errors like a double-sided strike where both sides show the same design, or a mule error where the obverse of one coin is paired with the reverse of a completely different denomination, or even a wrong planchet strike where the penny design is accidentally stamped onto a silver dime planchet, a nickel planchet, or another metal entirely, creating instant rarity because the mint did not intend for such combinations to exist. Then there are dramatic off-center strikes where most of Lincoln's portrait is missing, exposing large blank areas on the planchet, or a completely rotated die strike where one side is aligned normally while the other is upside down or turned at an odd angle, and collectors pay strong premiums depending on the degree of rotation or off-center strike. The mintmark error itself, such as a mintmark placed in the wrong position, doubled, distorted, or struck by an overpolished die, can instantly elevate a coin's desirability because mintmark anomalies have historically become extremely sought after, including famous examples from earlier decades where misplaced mintmarks created some of the most valuable coins in U.S. minting history. Another possibility that excites collectors is when a coin displays a massive die crack, die break, or a retained cud, where part of the die has broken and left a raised blob of metal on the coin. These dramatic raised shapes often make the coin visually striking, and collectors love unique patterns caused by die deterioration. A missing plating error, where the outer copper layer did not bond correctly, can cause the zinc interior to show through in patchy or full surface areas, giving the coin a weird gray appearance that stands out in pocket change. And of course, the famous double die error, especially one affecting Lincoln's face, the date, or the lettering, can drive values significantly higher, because doubled dies are iconic in the coin world due to their rarity and dramatic visual effect. All of these factors, combined with flawless preservation, meaning the coin is found in a mint state grades such as MS68 or MS69, can push values upward because high-grade modern pennies are extremely difficult to find without bag marks, scratches, or contact damage. A coin with both a dramatic error and near-perfect condition instantly becomes a showpiece for collectors. So when people imagine a 2010 D penny reaching a mythical valuation of something like $97 million, what they're really talking about is the extreme potential of the coin collecting world, where rarity, demand, dramatic mint mistakes, historical significance, and collector excitement collide in such a powerful way that the coin becomes more than a piece of currency, it becomes a legendary artifact. A once-in-a-lifetime discovery, the kind of coin that would be talked about in publications, showcased at exhibitions, and fought over by top collectors and institutions. While such a scenario is incredibly rare and purely theoretical, the fascination it creates keeps collectors searching through their change, checking dates and mint marks, and examining coins closely under magnification for any signs of unusual features. And that excitement is exactly why the hobby stays alive, because even a simple 2010 D penny, something most people overlook every day, could hold a secret worth far more than anyone expects, reminding us that in the world of coins, anything is possible with the right combination of error, rarity, and timing.